All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is John Shields with Insurance Agency Marketing, and I'm joined today by Paul Garofoli. I hope I pronounced that right. He's with National Western Life, and he's going to be going over an exciting product with you guys today that's paying a 11% commission. I won't go into the product a whole lot. I'm going to let Paul handle that, but I do want to go over a few things that are going on with IMES and how we can help some of you newer producers that have recently joined IMES. Okay, so we have our new producer bonus, and we have three different levels. We have the $100,000 level, the $300,000 level, and the $500,000 level. And you can look and see what the different incentives are for each level as you meet that production quota. So with that being said, you can see $750 cash bonus for the $100,000 level, an iPad, things of that nature. $300,000 level, we're going to do some Social Security mailing programs for you to help put you in front of more annuity clients. And then the $500,000 level, you can stay at the Ritz-Carlton, which is really nice. And the 500,000 piece mailing seminar coaching, that's the one that a lot of the producers go with, is the program with Mr. Matt Gill. Coming up, we've got our top producers escape. It's going to be February 25th to the 28th in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. And you can qualify with any of the combinations below. 200 million in annuity premium. And the qualification periods are July 1st to December 31st. If you have any questions about this, you can give us a call at 800-255-5055. Now, we do have an exciting creative service here at IMES, and they've been doing wonders for a lot of our producers, helping them out with their online marketing, building websites, email newsletters. We even do television production. We actually have a recording studio in our office, which is rather nice. A lot of a lot of marketing organizations can't say that they have a recording studio, but here we do. We do print marketing for a lot of producers, postcard mailers. A lot of our producers like to do Medicare mailers because the Medicare clients put them in front of the clients that want and need annuities for their retirement to supplement their Social Security income. Also, we do some basic marketing. If you need a logo created, business cards, we can handle all of that for you. Just give us a call on that 800 number, 800-255-5055, and you can ask for Josh, and he can walk you through anything that you need. Just another slide here talking a little bit more about our email newsletters. They have been rather effective. The website lead forms so that you can collect prospect data online. And it's a great way if you have traffic coming to your website, and the way you can do that, you can use Google AdWords or something like that, drive traffic to your website, have them fill out that form, and now those are leads that you can call on and make sales to. And then we have client management tools, and of course we can send those email newsletters out in bulk. Again, just call our creative team if this is something that you're interested in. Okay, coming up, we've got the IMES Life and Annuity Academy. Now, this event is actually taking place at the Athene corporate office in sunny Des Moines, Iowa. At least it's sunny today. With that being said, it's an all expenses paid event. So we take care of your flight, we take care of your hotel stay, and we take care of your meals. And we're going to have some of our top producers bouncing around sales ideas. We're going to talk about the annuity industry as a whole, things such as the DOL and what's going on with the DOL. I won't go into that a whole lot right now, but we are going to cover that at the Life and Annuity Academy. And then we're going to have some of our top producers talk about what seminars work, and they'll probably talk about what seminars didn't work because, you know, they didn't have the right thing at the very first time, but through trial and error, they learned what seminars work and what's bringing the bringing the business to their practice. We'll also do some case studies and case marketing with Single Premium Life. It's going to be an all-in-all good event. There is limited seating, so if you want that registration form, call our 800 number if you haven't received it already, and try to get on that list to attend this event. It's going to be phenomenal. Paperless contracting is something that we do here. It's kind of misleading. So we actually email you a PDF file, but when you get that PDF file, you can choose all of the carriers that you want to be appointed with, and then we can contract you with all of them with this one standard form. And then once you're contracted, if you have any additional carriers you want to be appointed with, it's very easy to do. You just let us know who it is, we get you appointed, and away you go. So paperless contracting is a good thing. Now, our website definitely makes your life easier. If you haven't been out to IAMS Inc., I recommend you go out there. We have some excellent sales tools. We do have a quoter out there. The one I use the most is the annuity quoter. You can plug in the client's age, you can plug in the bonus you want, you can plug in the carrier, the state you're in, and it'll pull up every single annuity product that meets that specification so that you can sell that product to your client. And we have it for fixed index annuities, MIGAs, SPIAs, income riders. Excellent website. Definitely get out there and take advantage of those tools. IAMS Wealth Management is something that we've started new here. It's our own RIA. So if anybody on this call is interested in getting their Series 65 license, give us a call at the number below, 888-255-7670, or you can call us on 800-255-5055, and they can tell you the steps you need to take to become Series 65 licensed. Retirement Analyzer. This is a software that was actually created by agents, and it's for agents, and it just helps your clients answer a lot of those questions that you see below. Can I continue, with my present standard of living, or do I need to reduce my spending habits? Those kind of things. So this is a great software for helping a client go through a holistic retirement plan. And we do give this free to our agents that qualify for it. To find out what you need to do to qualify, call 800-255-5055, and you can speak with any of us, and we can tell you what needs to be accomplished to get that software into your arsenal of tools. Easy money now. So we have a referral program for our producers. Anytime you refer a producer to us, you get $50, $100 or more when that referral actually writes business with us, and with thousands when we pay you, 20 basis points on business written by your referral thereafter. So you can make some money. We also have a marketing reimbursement program. We pay $200 of your marketing reimbursement for every $100,000 case you write, or every $100,000 in premium. So do take advantage of that program if you have friends or other people that are in the business that that you could refer to us, and they'll write business with IAMS. All right, I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Paul Garofoli so he can speak to you about this awesome product with National Western Life.
Well, John, speaking of awesome, holy mackerel, was that an awesome array of benefits and services getting from your IMO? Man, that is true partnership, John. I compliment you and the rest of the staff at IAMS for the great array of support for agents in helping them get to the next level.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Now, to do that, obviously, one of the things that you need to do is get paid. And so I'm pleased to present to you one of the highest paying products, if not the highest paying product in the business. Now, normally we associate products that pay a lot that don't do a lot for the customer. And this is the exact opposite. This is one of the rare instances where you can do good by doing well, by adopting a new outlook on how you position some of your clients' assets. So we call this presentation Bail for Money Jail. We're going to talk about some of the features in a product that I think everyone can use in some form or fashion. So as we move on, John's going to be my kind of Vanna White, if you will, and kind of move the slides going forward. If we go to the next slide, John, right, you're going to be the controller there. So what we want to talk about in terms of today's environment is, you know, are annuities money jail or money freedom? And ultimately what you have is you have an environment now with low interest rates, you have surrender charges. In essence, you're locking up client capital. Even more so, you have the shackles of suitability and income riders. Effectively now, when you place money into an annuity, it is very difficult, even if the client wants to get out, to move that money elsewhere. They've got an income rider. You can't replace the income rider value. You've got surrender charges to consider. You can't do that from a suitability standpoint. And then you're sacrificing potentially upside potential with low interest rates, low indexing terms. So you have a lot of complications as we move on to our next slide. And so with liquidity being important, fixed interest is at all-time lows. Client financial needs are unpredictable. This is one of the challenges we have with most of the annuity products. And I don't care whether you're selling a 5-year product, 7-year product, 10-year product. When you have a lot of these features, particularly with the suitability and the income rider, it is very difficult. The other thing that I think is bearing consideration, most financial products do one thing and one thing only. Some of them are really good on the income. Some may have some appeal with some razzle-dazzle indexing for upside potential. Some have an income doubler for accelerated benefits. But they only do one thing. And then finally, access to client capital, access to my money is one of the most important concerns of annuity buyers. So as we move forward, we present ultra classic bail from money jail. Your financial outlay is protected. Liquidity, upside potential. You know, remember that? So many products have caps, limits. This product has at least one uncapped index option. There are low-cost, no-cost income riders if you want the income rider story. Penalty-free RMDs, and we bring this to you from an A-rated, superior surplus, superior financial strength, #1 alert score company, my company, National Western Life. So we move to the next slide, John. And so we talk about the index choices here. So if you want indexing, we say know your index. This product is based on the S&P 500. We don't have any razzle-dazzle indexes on this. The good old S&P 500, know your index. Right now we have monthly average, 90% participation, a spread. Now at National Western Life we put both elements in place, a participation rate and a spread, 90% participation but no cap. So for example, if the market on average, this is a monthly average strategy, on average went up 10% in a given year, 90% participation, that's 9, less the spread of 25 basis points, that's 8.75% credited interest. So very strong strategy there. Monthly point to point, 2.25% monthly cap, so that's very attractive as well. We just introduced a new strategy, Option J, which is a annual point-to-point with the 6.75% upside potential, but there's a charge for it. So we actually charge for that upside potential, 75 basis points, but you get all of the indexing on all of the deposit that you place, and then a fixed rate of 3.10. So just as an index product in and of itself, you've got that upside potential, but that's really secondary to what this product offers, and we'll see that on the next slide. It is the ability to exercise multiple layers of liquidity. And again, this is a kind of a counterbalance to some of the training you may have had in terms of locking up client capital forever. One of the things about this product is that it's good for you as a producer too. You know, one of the benchmarks of building a business on the annuity side is that periodically you'd have penalty-free withdrawals, or you have full surrender amounts available to repurpose and resell. Well, again, with the income rider story being so predominant, it's more difficult to move client money, even with the penalty-free withdrawal, or even with a full surrender, because you're not replacing that. So let's talk about ways you can get out of money jail for no bail. Let's move on. So we present, and I'm going to talk about each of these particular features: a cumulative withdrawal, 50% cumulative withdrawal, 60% policy loan, 75% medical stay waiver, 100% terminal illness and death benefit, plus an accidental death benefit, talk about unique, plus early annuitization as well. All these liquidity features are found in this one product, Ultra Classic. So let's go to the first liquidity provision, the 50% cumulative withdrawal. And this works so magnificently, ladies and gentlemen. We all know of the 10% penalty-free withdrawal found in most fixed index annuities. We have a 10% penalty-free withdrawal beginning in the second year with this product. But if you don't use it, typically you lose that privilege. It's only once a year, 10%. But with the Ultra Classic from National Western Life, that withdrawal privilege rolls over. Much like your cell phone minutes from month to month. You don't use your cell phone minutes, you know they roll over to the next month. Well, here, if you don't use the 10% penalty-free withdrawal in a given year, next year it's 20%. Don't use it in that year, then the following year it's 30%, 40%, and 50% if you go 5 years without exercising the penalty-free withdrawal. So in essence, your client is building up a reserve of capital that they can release, reallocate, revitalize with no penalty. And one of the things that we share with advisors is that we understand the rules of suitability. First, do no harm. What does that mean? No surrenders on replacements. Here you have a storehouse of value that's available penalty-free. Give you an example here. You have $100,000 in annuity value. Go 5 years, that would make, assuming there was no growth in the contract, you'd have $50,000 available penalty-free. What if it grew to $120,000 over 5 years? That's within reason. Well, you would have $60,000 of penalty-free money, and if it made sense for the client, you could actually repurpose that. You might put it in another annuity. You might get back into the market. You might do all tons of different things. Get back into CDs if we get higher interest rates. The whole point here is that the client preserves flexibility for life's different outcomes. They have that ability to do that very thing as we go on.
Hey,
so
Paul,
you have that. Go ahead, John.
Sorry, got a quick question for you. This was actually asked by a producer yesterday. So he had a client, and they liked the idea of waiting 5 years and letting it build up to the 50%. But he said, what if the client only needed 20%? Would she still have 30%, or
yes.
What would happen in that situation?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I jumped into your question, but that storehouse of value, you can tap into it partially, and the remainder of that cumulative penalty-free withdrawal will remain. So in the example that John just gave us, went 50%, to only needed to take 20% of that off out of the contract, there still would be 30% cumulative withdrawal. The other neat part of it is, if you start exercising it, it restarts as well. So another example, John, is that I have people say, well, what if I go 2 years and I have 20% cumulative withdrawal, then I take it. Do I forfeit the privilege? No. The next year, it starts all up again at 10% again. So you could go 2 years, take 20. 2 years, take 20. 3 years, take 30. So it's a continuing replenishment of that penalty-free cumulative withdrawal provision. Lots of flexibility in there. And really what I want you to be thinking about, ladies and gentlemen on the call, is how many clients have expressed concern about access to their capital. This is just one of 5 ways that your client can get at their money penalty-free.
That's a great
Let's move on to the
liquidity
next
feature. Yeah.
Absolutely, John. So let's talk about the policy loan. Now, this is available on non-qualified plans only. Again, unique to National Western Life. I don't think you're going to find any product out there with a 50% cumulative withdrawal. You're not going to find them with a 60% policy loan. Now, this is only available on non-qualified funds. That's the IRS's rules, not ours, so we have to honor that. It's available as early as 30 days after issue, and it's of the accumulation value. Now, you do pay an interest rate charge. It is a loan, 7.4%, but also remember that when you exercise this, we require that you have all the funds in the fixed rate account. So if you start out in an index account and want to exercise the policy loan, you have to wait to the next policy anniversary to access the policy loan by putting all the money in the fixed account. But again, you don't have this in any other contract. 60% of the account value available as a loan. Now, I call this, John, fail-safe liquidity, because when you take a loan from an annuity, it's not like a life insurance loan where you can defer and avoid taxes. A loan from an annuity is taxed as if it were a withdrawal. Right. But nonetheless, here is another way to answer the objection, well, what if? What if this happens? What if that happens? You've got the cumulative withdrawal and the policy loan as 2 main areas of liquidity. The other point I like to make on these 2 elements of liquidity is that they don't require company permission. You know, so many contracts, they might have an income doubler, they might have some kind of release for long-term care. They give you your money back at your worst possible moment. You got to be sick, you got to be hurt, you got to be terminally ill. We have a little bit of that in our product as well, as we'll share in the next couple of slides. But these 2 provisions, ladies and gentlemen, don't require you to be sick, don't require you to be dying, don't require you to get certified and approved by the company to get at your money. These are unconditional liquidity features that can be exercised at the client's discretion. Let's go to the 3rd liquidity feature, John. This is the medical stay waiver. It's not quite a nursing home waiver, but it has most of the elements that you would expect. The medical stay waiver, it's available automatically up to age 75, so anybody that's 75 or younger that applies for the policy, by the way, we issue it up to age 80, they will get this automatic medical stay waiver. It requires 90 consecutive days of care in a medical facility. That can be a hospital or a nursing facility. If they do that, they will get 75% of the account value as a lump sum out of the contract. So really good feature here for people that are concerned about those major life events in that way. The next liquidity element, terminal illness, pretty standard. Again, now these are the elements where you have to be sick or hurt. Remember, we have the 2 liquidity provisions where you don't have to be sick or hurt, but this is a standard terminal illness. Let's go to the next one, which I think is pretty unique, the accidental death benefit. This is, in essence, a return of premium if you die from an accident. Now, surprisingly, so many seniors, you know, outside of traditional illness, many have accidental death. So, for example, if you had a $100,000 annuity with us and something should happen to you by way of accident, car accident, some other tragedy of that sort, your heirs would get the value of the annuity, $100,000, plus they get another additional $100,000 as an accidental death benefit. It stays on the policy up to age 75. Once you get to 75, it drops off. So for seniors that are active, here's another way to get some coverage, accidental death only. Keep that in mind. But again, who else has that feature? Nobody has that. Very unique feature there. We move on to the next slide. the whole idea of these benefits is to answer the what-if question, to be the ultimate objection buster. You have 50% cumulative withdrawal, 60% policy loan, 75% medical stay waiver, 100% terminal illness death benefit, 200% double indemnity accidental death, plus these other features. This product also has early annuitization. We call it 5x5 annuitization. The product is normally a 13-year surrender product. Now, so you go, oh, I don't sell these longer duration products. You do. Shut up. Because if you sell any type of annuity, whether it's a 5-year, 7-year, 9-year, or 10-year with an income rider, you just sold a forever annuity. Because how long do people want their income rider annuities to last? Forever. So here's a way to mitigate surrender charges, and one of those ways is this 5x5 annuitization, John. You can annuitize at full contract value, no penalty, no kickback, no give back, after 5 years for as little as 5 years. Effectively, I tell people the Ultra Classic, you could say, is a 5-year product, because after 5 years, the client can call a timeout and start to get all their money back systematically over 5 years. Can they get paid over 10 years? Yes. Can they get paid over 20 years? Yes. Lifetime? Yes. So you have that feature as well.
Right,
We
but if
also
they needed
offer
access to more of their money quicker, they can get it over 5 years. That's phenomenal.
Right. So, people say, well, can I combine some of these features, John? So, for example, you could go 5 years. Remember, you got that cumulative withdrawal.
Right.
You could take 50% out, penalty-free, half the contract value, then annuitize the remainder over 5 years and be completely out of the contract with no penalty. That's just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And ultimately, it may be less so that the client needs this, but they like the idea of having that flexibility.
Right.
I'd also point to people that, right now the market's at an all-time high. We're 7 years, 8 years into a bull market. We've got all these things going on, and, maybe the market's got a little bit more gas in it. I don't know. But imagine protecting money right now, and whatever happens, a market correction, if you're in a fixed index annuity, your principal's always protected, so we're good there. But if there are changes in the economy, doesn't it make sense if you have some safe money alternatives like the Ultra Classic, then things change, market declines, you can now, in a couple of years, use the cumulative withdrawal, take some money out, and repurpose it either back into the market or into another fixed index annuity that has a lower indexing starting point to capture the upside gain. So we have that. We also have an income rider, and then it's also important to note that this product, even though the penalty-free withdrawals, John, start in the second year, RMDs in all years, including the first, required minimum distributions, are always available without penalty and without any adjustment to your commission, by the way. I've had people ask me that. Hey, if I take an RMD in the first year, is that a commission adjustment? No, it's not. It's built into the product. So keep that in mind as well. As we move on.
Paul, quick question before we move on. So let's say they're taking their penalty-free RMDs and they have the income rider and it's rolling up. Do those RMDs affect the income rider roll-up? No,
they do not. Our income rider is RMD friendly. Okay. So that will not affect the roll-up at all. That will continue to grow, and the income base will continue to grow accordingly. And speaking of that, I think we're going to talk about income riders in just a little bit. So we have that. So this kind of is a reinforcement of the penalty-free or penalty-full. One of the things that we reinforce is we have these withdrawal privileges, particularly the penalty-free withdrawal, cumulative penalty-free withdrawal. National Western Life processes partial 1035 exchanges. Not all companies do. So what that means is you could go come to National Western Life and say, hey, Paul, John Shields is really hot on American Equity this week, and if they got some super product, what I want to do is I want to take, with my client's permission, my client's got a 30% cumulative withdrawal, $30,000. I want you to 1035 that, send that check to American Equity for benefit of my client, and we're going to put him into a new product there. Can you do that? Yes. Will you issue a 1099? No. It's a partial 1035 exchange. National Western Life processes those. Not every company does. So keep that in mind, that we're truly dedicated to the fact that it's your client's money and they can do with it what they want. Now, could they buy another product from us? Yeah, we'll take that. We can repurpose that. And the key always to remember is we want to do right by the client, so if it's in their best interest, if it makes sense, if it's suitable for them to do so, to get more yield, to get a bonus, to get a feature that they don't have currently, why not? There it is. But ultimately, John, they have the option to do so. As we move on, we'll sum up with the product features. 3.10% fixed rate, high cap and no cap index formulas based on the S&P 500. 13-year duration, but offset, mitigated with liquidity. It's really a 5-year contract, in my opinion. You can annuitize at full contract value after 5 years. There is no market value adjustment. So many products that have come out recently have another gotcha in terms of that market value adjustment, where they're going to add more to the surrender charge, particularly with the market at an all-time high. This also offers a full account value death benefit as well. So ultimately, we talk about the annuity seesaw and the trade-off between what the client puts in and what the client gets. And as we move on, I call the annuity seesaw, basically the more bonuses. People say, well, does this have a bonus? No, the liquidity and all the benefits are the bonus. So when you put a bonus, you typically sacrifice liquidity. Generally, sometimes you don't get as lucrative indexing terms. So this is the trade-off that many of you have to propose to your clients. Hey, we can get you the bonus, we can get you these things, but look at what you're giving up. And one of those things is liquidity. Well, you don't have to do that, John, with our product. As we see moving on, we'll talk about the income rider. Now, we have two great income riders, and you have the ability actually to add a bonus to the Ultra Classic with one of our income riders. We'll talk about these briefly as we bring the meeting to the close. Now, ultimately, what I like to reinforce about income is the elements that are most important are the actual payout in what you get. Now, we have two income riders, Income Outlook. We call it the best value. This is a roll-up of 3%, but what we have is the highest rates of withdrawal in the business. Our rates of withdrawal increase every year. At 60, for example, it's 5%. At 65, it's 5.5%. 66, 5.6. 67, 5.7. So at each age, that withdrawal rate increases 10 basis points. And that can make all the difference in the world in terms of the actual value. The competitive payouts are what makes this product very strong. And quite frankly, our product does really well in early payouts and payouts of from years 1 through about 5. You'll see that we're typically top of the spreadsheet there. The other thing I want to point out is that this rider has a very low cost, 1%, 100 basis points, but uniquely, we do not charge for the rider if there's no gain in the contract. No gain, no charge. As a result, this rider, if you add it to Ultra Classic, is always principal protecting, is always preserving the premium outlay. If you put $100,000 in, they're never going to get below $100,000 as a result of the income rider charge. So very strong value there. Now, I have some sizzle, too, if you want to add a bonus and get the liquidity as well as we move on to the other option, and that is Income Outlook Plus 5. This is an income rider with a true premium bonus. This is a premium bonus that not only affects the payment-based value or income value as it's known, but it also will increase the account value. It's real premium. It also will increase the death benefit. For example, if you have $100,000, you add this income rider on, their income value will be based on $105,000 growing at 4%. Their death benefit is $105,000, the 100 plus the 5, and they will earn index credits on both the base account, $100,000, and the bonus account, $500,000, which over time will vest and they can walk away with that value. Now, the challenge is that the rider charges 1.5% and it is never waived. So when you make this selection, you have to really be thinking about the value of the bonus boost for income, and we generally recommend that rider for older clients who don't have a lot of time to accumulate for lifetime income purposes and can use the bonus boost to their advantage. So that's the Income Outlook Plus 5. Another really early liquidity option available after 1 year. So ultimately what we like to say is you came for annuities, now stay for life, because we did talk a little bit, John, about return to premium and accelerated benefits. So I want to just spend one more minute going beyond the Ultra Classic and introducing you to another product that National Western Life has, which is single premium life. And I put it in this liquidity bucket because it presents all kinds of great options to you. The Ultra Classic we just talked about, 90% participation, 50% cumulative withdrawal privilege, pays 10%. And by the way, you didn't catch John wrong. He said 11% because right now we have a 1% commission bonus program going on. So right now and up until April 15th submitted, this product will pay you 11%, 10 plus the 1. We also have this great annuity alternative, single premium life. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. We're just going to mention it here in this slide, Lifetime Return Select, that has a full return to premium. Talk about ultimate liquidity, plus accelerated benefits based on the face amount, easy issue, telephone underwriting, indexing chassis. So it's almost as easy, or maybe even easier, than selling a fixed indexed annuity. All the same features, all the same upside that you talk about, and that product pays 11%. Then finally we have the Ultra Future. That's a 9% bonus. That has the early annuitization, so that has that liquidity option. We kind of talk about that like bonus gold. So I wanted to make sure that we talked about those products as well. We're not a one-trick pony with Ultra Classic. Now, John, I think there may be a couple more slides, but I think we're coming up on about 30 minutes of content beyond what you provided.
Yeah.
So I know you like to keep these to 45 minutes or less.
Sure.
So we'll keep that. I would also point, if you have some challenges with single premium life, we've got a third-party resource called savingsbasedinsurance.com that will actually be a point-of-sale presentation for you to talk to clients and present them the idea of single premium life. So whether it's Ultra Classic and its liquidity, whether it's the tax-free death benefits of Lifetime Return Select, all based on a great indexing chassis and brought to you by IAMS, one of the premier marketing and support organizations in the business. You can't go wrong with National Western Life. Now, I'll close with this. You know, people say, well, where's Ultra Classic approved? Well, it's not approved everywhere. You know, it is a 13-year duration product. You know, some of you know you're in states where you have a 10-10 regulation or a 70-10 regulation. So I have a good solution if you want to sell Ultra Classic and you're in one of those states that doesn't have the product. John, the answer is move. Move to a state where you can sell Ultra Classic. It's that good.
Right.
It's that good. But
It is.
keep in mind, whether it's National Western Life, we have other products that if you're in some of those other states, we have other products that I think are worth your consideration. And of course, the great menu that John has with the constellation of carriers that he brings to the table, they always have a good solution for you. So,
Yeah,
John,
and
back to
National
you.
Western Life is actually available in a lot of states. So if you guys, want to use National Western Life, which it sounds like they have some great liquidity features, and it looks like they're really focused on putting more money into clients' pocket at the end of the day when it comes to retirement. Hey, Paul, definitely appreciate you being on the webinar. Excellent products. It's been great. You guys give us a call, though, if we can help you out with anything. If you need an illustration for income for your clients, you can reach us at 800-255-5055. Everybody have a good evening. Paul, you have a good evening.
Thank you, John. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.